Hey everybody, hope your day's going good. Thought I'd get on here and still watching the political scene. Always gonna have to. But I'm still not. I sat here. I was gonna do this video, and for about an hour, I've had so many speeches run through my head, all great ones. Anyways, all those speeches running through my head, and it was in the political nature, and most of them, I'm in a habit of explaining things, why I say the words I do. I'll explain it to detail, and then some, and apply it to if need be. And it ain't bragging. It's encouragement for others to broaden their view, expand their mind on everything. Politically, what's going on, I mentioned earlier, we got the con man made his way there. And, I've never mentioned it. I learn when to, I'm learning, and I think I've learned, I hope. Even if you have some sort of inner knowing or whatever, or suspicion, if you don't have 100% proof, then it's a belief. It's just what we know. That's how it works. But anyways, the day of the election, I was watching CNN on and off, and this was probably in the AM, 11 to noon, somewhere in there, maybe earlier. Either Nevada or Arizona, that one of the voting centers had a computer dimmed down malfunction. Someone there who had been there many years said that this has never happened before. A tech crew was going to show up, and they did a couple hours later or so, guessing. A tech crew showed up and got them up and running. It was after that announcement of how they're back up and running that red kind of blossomed all over. Oh, don't say that, don't do it. This is just the facts. I'm an individual, and it was on CNN. Check it out if you have to. I'm sure somebody looked into that, I hope, or thought about that with the kind of people who can affect algorithms and stuff like that. We're getting a taste of that Yaldabaoth energy. And I think there'll be a lot of buyer's remorse soon of those who, if it ain't already, if that many voted for him. And what they'll have to remember, this new administration, is around half this country, when they think of any other human being, would look at them and say, hey, I shouldn't harm you. I don't want to hurt you. And not target people because of whatever they think that's different from your belief. It's just, I called it Yaldabaoth again, so let me explain. The Old Testament God of the Bible, he'd send out, if you weren't his people, you were the others. And often he'd send them out to pillage the lands, kill women and children, sometimes take them. It's depending on how they're feeling, apparently. And bring back those spoils. We'll take it from them. I see land, it's ours. Take it. So anyways, and then you have Jesus, that they merged all together as if they're the same. The writings, even if Jesus, might have been just made up, but I believe a man said those kind of things, or they wouldn't have thought of it themselves. Anyhow, it's a shame, because they're going to work hard to get rid of those who actually had a broadened view, that aren't capped like their beliefs, that aren't so scared and spooked. And they're going to work against those. But here's an overview, so I don't go into details of my hour plus of working a lot out in my head. You don't want the buyer's remorse to happen too heavily than it already is, because people can see, I hope. And here's my suggestion too. I was watching, and I wish I recalled who it was. They were interviewing many Trump supporters and just generally asking them questions. And the things that they said makes me say this now. I believe just like you can't go get to drive a car and act right on the road and behave right and know that you can do it without a written test first, just to even see, do you comprehend what the rules are out on the road? Okay? After seeing these interviews, I mean, there should be, before voting, so we've waited to a certain age to do it, there should be a test. Do you know a few basic freaking things about the world? Do you agree with this or that? And what do you know, there should be something that disqualifies someone as being a valid, but they're like tools, like pawns for, sadly, for those who want to use them and abuse them, and people end up voting against their better good. And so this rich administration that is working out all their money, now if you're gonna, like a magician, find ways of creating money that doesn't exist, or money that was in the federal, treasure, which does exist. But anyways, if you're going to make ways for money to increase for you and your friends, you got in there no matter if you begged, stealed, killed, or borrowed, lied and connived your way there. In spite of all that, you may as well make the money, like you said, and you don't care about the others, it seems, and your hatred could just show. That's what's showing. That's what the world really sees, those with eyes to see and ears to hear. So I tend to lean toward Christ's side of the teachings, not Yaldabaoth, not even the eye for eye, even though that may work if you're defending yourself, because there's a lot of us not going to just sit still and get raped over by what's going on. So, it just kind of sickens me to see it. It's hard to watch. I don't get rageful and mad and lose control. Now I'm usually smiling at it and shaking my head, because a lot of lessons are going to be learned in upcoming months. But here's the other thing I thought of during some of that. When you take when you're doing that and you're wanting to get rich quick with you and your buddies and control tech to fit your limited beliefs and your desires and needs, and how to groom people to think a certain way, flooding them with information, and if the whole world went to, I got a big imagination. I could make up lies about so many people, and bizarre ones, and say them and say them and say them. I just don't agree with that. What would the world turn into if everybody, listen, everybody's telling their lies about lies? It's crazy. And it's amazing to me what is going on like that. But on my recommendation, I watch news and I seen it coming. I hear Donald Trump, his admissions, his denials, and his flips and his flops and his lies and his demeanor. And I've had that charisma all my life. runs in the family. He reminds me of my dad in looks and actions sometimes, but it's not always a good quality either, you know. It's like a cult of personality if left unchecked, you know, or depends on how much inward things they've done. Or just how hateful and scammy and greedy and all the negative things, the devil energy. And I'm not always going to keep calling this stuff out, but I might. There's others doing a great job at this stuff. There's the iHip girls on the news, or I've had it. You know, we must diversify with our information, especially moving forward. Because back to this administration, if you're gonna, people are easily scared, and I don't mean that in a, you know, if I'm an immigrant, every immigrant's scared. He likes the spooky do that he can do. But fear is powerful. And I mean what I say. So I've used bold, you know, sometimes I like his style of thinking in certain cases. So you know, have deep understandings on many things. And but on the news part, back to let's go back to the administration. What they would do if they don't want you paying attention to the money they're working out how to make and screwing over and destroying the country's laws and rules and taking away rights from trans people or anyone who just don't think like they do. It's sickening. And I don't think the whole world is just going to lay around and take it. We see you guys. We see it. Anyways, what they would do if they're going to be making money here, there, cheating you here, screwing you there, is smoke and mirrors. We're going to deport. So what he's probably doing now is working up his next movie scene. Somebody's going to get... You know, he'll make someone to make an example of, so his buyer's remorse base will say, yeah, see, he's doing what he said. It's all about the image that he's going to keep now while he's still making more money. So anyways, and I'm not the only one saying that, so at least some form like that. Yeah, I appreciate I listen still to those who really are good life coaches, no matter, when you have a broad belief and you know that someone manages their beliefs in a way that is not harmful for people. Some, in my opinion, could be refined and stuff, but then that's my opinion and we're all individuals. Again, where it becomes a problem is where someone tries to control you and run your whole life based on their limited belief, as this Project 2025 stuff, you know, is being revealed but we have to be brave and call it out like it is, and it's hatred. So we won't be backing down. I think there's a large group of people, if we see you picking on somebody that is, you know, marginalized in some way like that, I better not be near you. I'm not the greatest at whatever, but I'll put myself to the test on somebody if that were the case. Not looking for fights, not at all. I'm letting love lead the way and trying to. But we're in a world full of hates the guiding administration, and you can't say that. Don't tell us that. We're happy because we're gonna make money. Everybody needs to think as deep and as wide as they can on what's going on. and decide what you're actually okay with or not, or somebody does for you. All right, so I've appreciated who I listen to, and especially in the future. There's some, I'll still hear, and it's like, not but it's a learning process, and I'll be evolving. But I've found at least those who are telling it like it is. It's a broad swoop of people that agree with each other perfectly, in a sense, in many, many ways. And then it's all connected. And when I'm talking about you, I'm talking about me too. We're all one, but we are individuals, and that don't mean. It'd be nice if we all had unity where people cared for each other, in a world where, hey, what can make this better, and not what can make us richer at the top and fool the people who seem to be easily fooled. Or no one would question that we cheated. All that, and that's back to like the news. If in the future they can just tout and repeat lies, because some of the same old lies Trump was touting about the border, when everyone knew that he shut the deal down, that still gets said. Yeah, I'm in the border. From, I won't name. When future lies start bombarding the media, because if it's smoke and mirrors, and they'll talk about this for a while because it's going to stir up all of this, and everyone does have to riot. It's dirty tricks, because everyone does have to rise up and, like, well, if he means what he says, which a person's supposed to, if you're a person of character, and in that Bible, probably even in the Trump Bible, it probably left it in there where by your words you're justified, and by your words you are saved. So he's going to want to try to honor that with a show on something here, there, and everywhere, or so he can look okay while he changes the country for the worse, and while he makes himself as rich as possible, because such wealth is such an advantage in a world like this. And so in the news, why couldn't they run the scenarios? People don't think in scenarios because they lock in a belief and that's it. And they quickly dismiss, well, this, that, this, probably not because of all of that. Run the scenarios, and then you won't be as fooled so quickly and easily when the next whatever's coming down the pike. So even news announcers could say, if they know the truth in their own head, and most of them are really great at this, and they're being lied to, they could say, what, you don't think it's, and name the truth. Why don't you think it's truth? And when they don't, well, that don't agree with this because, and maybe they could add to it. Maybe more freedom to rebuttal with truth it's going to have to happen. And I've been seeing that, and I appreciate it when it does happen. But we spend our time on what they could just say, that every scenario when they tell this, it could be Trump just trying to divert attention while they work out more important matters for the rich. That's my feelings on that. And well, I'm going to work on my next song. But before I do, with this happening of trying to know the truth and diversifying your information, there's a lesson And there's a lesson. There's a lesson with an oxygen mask. Imagine you're flying on a plane, and let's say you're a mother with four kiddos, on a plane, seated somewhat close. Something catastrophic, boom, a window pops out or whatever, and the oxygen mask drop or whatever happens when that happens. So here you are, scared. What in the world? Are we going to crash? Can we breathe? Or is it breathing stuff? So here's your decision. Whose mask do you put on first? Because I could see a lot of mothers, and even a proper tendency would be, you see a little girl over there holding up a hand, and like she can't even reach the mask. You got another, and it's like, huh? You see how? But anyways, it would be hard not to go set your children up, or anyone else that's sitting around figuring out their mask. And what should be the proper order? Should you put it on first or last? So I think the proper order, you put your own mask on first, so that you will be around to help the last one of your group, and then some. You'll help more people by taking care of yourself first, by putting on your own, protecting your own safety in a situation like that before you can even or should even try to help others. If you tried and you got all of them their mask on, but before you got to yours, that was too much time gone by, and someone else will be taking care of those kids. You can see where someone's proper reasoning and intention and care can misguide a person to the order of how to, is it up now, is it down, in, out, or around. How we think matters. It just matters. So that counters, again, some of the things they added in the Bible and in certain things. And yes, we should help one another, look out for one another. That's what I'm doing here, trying to teach. I'd rather have a world of people who actually could find a love for one another, not fire them because they believe in diversity and equity and ethnicity and equal for all humans. So I'm never going to be okay with all the whatever bedazzled tricks get pulled and the laws get taken and the freedoms get screwed with. I lost my point, got carried away with all this stuff. There'll be a lot of lessons here coming soon. But anyway, even the news crews could just, it might be diversions, it might be that he will, and they've kind of done that. Don't hear it a lot because I split my time when I can, and the Midas Touch, several ones are on that I catch now and then, and they're telling it like it is, and we need stuff like that, and but that oxygen mask example is why someone, if you're going to, this group or that one, they all have to, it causes them all to have to, what's it going to be? Messing with people's lives. It's fun for some. And that's life. That's what people say. riding high in April, shot down in May. So, anyways, thanks for listening if you did, and have the best day you can, and I'll catch you another time.